First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus, to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming, homage to Master Sakya Tsang, homage to His Eminence the 16th Dharma King Karmapa, and homage to Master Tupten Dorji. Homage to the main deity of Homa today, Maitreya Bodhisattva Jampa. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Simu Tuten Siddhi Rinpoche, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, temple directors, all disciples present here and over the internet. Our participating guests of honor today, from the Taiwan government, Chief Secretary Mr. and Mrs. Tsang Peifu. From Academia Sinica, the academician Professor and Mrs. Zhu Si. The rep to the Mayor of Nantou County, Mr. and Mrs. Tsang, Ziqing. The Scholars Group of Tributary School, the distinguished Professor Wang Jingxian, Professor Wang Yaojun, Professor Wang Li, Professor Gu Haoxiang, Professor Ye Shuwen, Professor Hong Xinyi, Professor Si Jiaming, Professor Lin Xiuji, Professor Dr. Yu Jiangcheng, Medical Doctor Li Jun'an, and the President of the Worldwide Lotus Light Charitable Society, Master Tsang Ren, and the President of the Lotus Light Charitable Society of Taiwan, Mr. Li Chunyang, and the Sand Sculptor Master Wang, from Jingyi Enterprise General Manager Ms. Zhang Yizhen,
my university same classmate, Zhu Jinsui 先生及夫人陈泽霞女士。
Mr. and Mrs. Zhu Jinsui, producers for the Great Perfection Dharma, Hevajra Exposition and Development Stages of Tantayana, Master Liu Yue, and the host, Dharma Sister Peiju. From CTI TV, producers for the Illuminating Your Heart, Mr. Becca Shiachi.
My sister Lu Shengmei 女士。师母的家眷一共有19位，19位。
And Simu's family for a total of 19 people.
感谢图登西地仁波切。
And thank you to Tuten Siddhi Rinpoche for his donation for 100,000 NT dollars at the Fasang chapter, also 100,000 And also all $100,000 for Mr. Wu Guande and Chen Haoming. Also $100,000 NT dollars. And also Zhong Bing Tao and Feng Changling, also $100,000 NT dollars. Everyone, good afternoon. How do you do? In Taiwanese. Happy New Year. This year is the year of the Ram. And today is also the birthday of Maitreya Bodhisattva. Ulang tahun. Selamat ulang tahun. Happy birthday in Indonesia. Indonesian. So on New Year's Day, we typically have Maitreya Bodhisattva as the main deity of Homa. That's his birthday. So we are celebrating his birthday. So Maitreya Bodhisattva is the main deity of Homa. And this year, today, is the first day of the year of the Ram. And as Simu just said before, she had said all the good wishes that on the year of the Ram, everything will go smoothly and you would be fulfilled. And we all can bathe in the Buddha's light here. And in Taiwan, Maitreya Bodhisattva is sculpted like the monk with the cloth bag, with great fortune, one with great fortune. And Grandmaster in the past also received care from Maitreya Bodhisattva, and he descended and bestowed the red-colored crown. It was bestowed by Maitreya Bodhisattva. How great Maitreya Bodhisattva is that he is really compassionate. So at that time, during the time of the Trisa Buddha, he had two disciples. One is Maitreya, one is Sakyamuni Buddha, and the other one is Maitreya Bodhisattva. So the Trisa Buddha had two disciples, Sakyamuni and Maitreya. And the attainments of Maitreya was so extremely high, and Sakyamuni was only so-so. Just so-so. But the Jampa Buddha, the Maitreya, was perfect in all the Dharma. And Jampa, whether it's Jampa Buddha or Sakyamuni Buddha, the great sovereign Buddha king, they can it's just like a pig, like take a pig, But Trisa Buddha observed the affinity with the Saha world, their affinity with the Saha world. And the one that would mature first is Sakyamuni Buddha. So that's why Sakyamuni Buddha was the first one that descended upon the Saha world and became the founder of Buddhism. And the next one would be Maitreya Bodhisattva. So Maitreya Bodhisattva too is also the great sovereign King Buddha. So Buddhism, at the end of Buddhism, there are two schools. One was founded by Nagarjuna, the Madhyamaka school, and the other one was the one transmitted by Maitreya Bodhisattva to Asanga, was Yogacara, or the school of consciousness only. And the other one is Madhyamaka, the school of the middle way. These two are the great schools of Buddhism today. So Yogacara and Madhyamaka. And in the future, when Maitreya Bodhisattva descended upon the Saha world, will not suffer so much like Sakyamuni Buddha. He would came to the Saha world directly from Tushita heaven and hold the 3 meetings of the dragon flower, and that would be extremely incredible. He used the consciousness only method to salvage the sentient beings. And the sentient beings, with one recitation of Namo Buddhaya, they would attain Buddhahood and go to the Buddha lands directly. But the problem is, will you be there at the meetings of the dragon flowers? So the primary supplicants today would be those who would be present at the dragon flowers meetings, and they are destined to become Buddhas. So how about those registering for the ceremonies or receiving the empowerments? It depends on your destiny, whether you will be there for the 3 meetings. Maybe not the first meeting or the second meeting, but you have the 3rd meeting. So you have 3 chances for the 3 meetings. So if you receive the Maitreya empowerment, you would create affinity with Maitreya Bodhisattva. So for the primary supplicants, they would attain Buddhahood at the first meeting of the dragon flower. And then those who are registered would attain Buddhahood at the second meetings. And those who receive empowerments would become Buddhas at the 3rd meetings. So everyone would attain Buddhas. So you don't need to worry. So Maitreya Bodhisattva has tremendous transformation of the consciousness only. So the concept of the consciousness only is very profound. When the monk Xuanzhuang went to the western region, to India, from Tang dynasty, he studied this consciousness only, the Yogacara. So what is the great transformations of Yogacara? Maitreya Bodhisattva under the dragon flower tree as soon as his heart emits light, and the light is shone upon all the hearts of the participants of the dragon flower meetings, all the karma would be immediately eradicated. And they would all become the pure Buddha nature. And immediately they transform to become lights, prajna lights. And all the Buddha nature would be seated on the prajna lights, and all would fly together, would rise to the sky. All the prajna lights would go to the inner quarter of the Tushita heaven, the pure land there of Maitreya Bodhisattva. There is direct Buddhahood. Very swift, very fast. With the light emitted, and all the beings would become lights. And with Namo Buddhaya, with one recitation, all would attain Buddhahood. Unlike Sakyamuni Buddha, who had to give Dharma teaching for 49 years and have talked incessantly how to practice and practice and practice. And spiritual cultivation is full of hardships, and all become devils, they become maras instead. More is mara instead of for Buddha. It's extremely difficult, but when Maitreya Bodhisattva descends, and when you have the affinity to gather to meet him, then all your karma would be eradicated completely, and you would become Buddha. As long as you have the affinity to meet him when he descends. It's very simple, extremely tremendous. So if you can be at the dragon flower meetings, any of the 3 meetings, if you're there, you are destined to attain Buddhahood, to become Buddha. So Sakyamuni Buddhas in the Saha world suffered a lot in his Dharma propagation. So I wish that all of us can be at the Dragon Flower 3 meetings of Maitreya Bodhisattva. But don't worry that so one day in heaven is the same as 500 years in the human world. But Maitreya Bodhisattva will not be there until trillions years later, eon later. But don't worry. So in the Trimya Tramsa heaven, which is the closest heaven to human world, one day there is the same as 500 human years. So if the heaven is higher, the higher it goes, the longer it. So the Tushita heaven of Maitreya Bodhisattva would be the 4th. So 500 plus 500 plus 500 plus 500. There would be one day there would be the same as 2,000 human years. So trillions of years would be easy. You think it's a long time later, but no, it depends how it's calculated. The calculation is different in the heavenly realm than us. So if you say that you come to the Saha world every 500 years, then you just go to heaven for one day and then you come back, and it's already 500 years in human world. So Grandmaster vowed to be in the Saha world to deliver sentient beings, yet every lifetime. So I just go back to heaven for one day and then come back again. So the calculation is not something that you can fathom. So the salvation of Maitreya Bodhisattva is something beyond our imagination. It is extremely fast. Consciousness only. He uses consciousness to become the consciousness of sentient beings, and the consciousness of sentient beings become the consciousness of Maitreya Bodhisattva, and in a moment we all return to the Buddha lands. So today is the birthday of Maitreya Bodhisattva. Happy birthday and Happy New Year. So it's also the year of the ram. This is really auspicious. A husband told his wife, "This year is the year of the ram, and we all have good lucks." And he told the wife, "You suffered a lot in the past years, so today I would promote you." And the wife asked, "What would I be promoted to?" And the husband told her, "Now you become the first wife." Become the first wife. So all the good wives are promoted to become the first wife, and the man would be very happy. So the year of the ram, everybody is very happy. Whether you have money or not, it's better to get a wife to celebrate New Year. But the woman next to him is and the one closest to me is Master Huijun. And she extended her head and said, "Okay, I'll marry you." And then Grandmaster said, "Oh, I'm not celebrating New Year this year then." And Huijun said, "There's even fatter one." Of course, if Master Huijun goes to America, she would be really pleased walking behind the big lady in America. She would become like a small one, small lady. Although they are fatter ones, but you're quite fat already. Anyone that's fat, you might as well become nuns. Amitabha. So this year is the year of the ram. Everybody likes the lamb because lambs are very tender and soft and gentle. So we all need to learn to be like the lambs of the 12 zodiacs. The rams are most gentle and lovely. So this year, for Taiwan, I see the light of the dawn, so there's hope. So I saw the dawn. There would be a new prospect in the political arena and also economic arena and also in the society.
在我们的幸福指数来讲起来，我是打60分。60分是
And I would give 60 from 1 to 100.
今年
It's 60, which means there is hope.
最好的一年。祝福
So
大
it's
家
past.
洋洋得意。
So here on the first day of the year of the Ram, I wish all of us would be happy and content and all go smoothly.
今天早上很特别哦。
This morning is very special.
这个11点20分的时候啊，
At
那时
11:20,
候这个虚空，我们在雷藏寺的空中，
here in the sky above Taiwan Lizang Temple, near the columbarium, there was an
在
eagle,
空中盘旋。
a male eagle,
一般鹰本身在空中盘旋，
appeared
而
in
且
the
还会叫。
sky, circling and crying.
这叫的声音像什么？
How did it sound?
师母讲啊啊啊啊啊啊啊啊，
Simu said, ah, ah.
那是雄鹰在叫，雄鹰不是叫啊，
No.
因为乌鸦才叫啊。
That must be the crow. It's not for the male eagle.
咻咻，这样子，一共叫了4声，我听得很清楚，叫4声。
I heard it very clearly. It cried
那时候
4
我
times.
们在那里刚好是迎接这个副总统吴敦义，
So we were welcoming the Vice President Wu
这个雄
Dun-yi,
鹰在叫，
and we heard the sound of the male eagle.
新的气象出现。
So there must be a new prospect.
大年初一啊，看到雄鹰，
So on the first day of the new year, there is the
故乡，
we saw the male eagle. That's incredible.
这个
And thinking of that song about hometown,
蓝色
homeland.
的天空啊，白云抖抖啊，白云抖抖。这个碧绿的河水，欢涨清波。
on the blue sky, the white clouds,
山里面啊，牛羊成群。
and on the
这个都是菩
grassland,
萨保佑，
there's the greens,
都是菩萨在保佑。
and the male eagle flying
还
in
有
the
雄
sky.
鹰在
And this is all protected by the bodhisattvas
这个留下了美丽的
and leaving behind a beautiful song.
你看，今天阳光普照，有雄鹰飞翔。
So today, with
雷
the
藏寺啊，
a bright sunny day, and with the sound and the flying of the male eagle, the Taiwan Lizang Temple would be flourishing, and the true Buddha-centric Dharma would be widespread all over the world, to all the 5 continents. It's a very auspicious sign.
谢谢这个弥勒菩萨的祝福。
So thank you for the blessings of Maitreya Bodhisattva. 密教大圆满啊！ Now we will continue to expound on the great perfection Dharma of
大
Tantrayana.
士曾带我到一座
Guru Padmasambhava once brought me to a really old great hall that was really beautiful.
有海螺的声
At that
音
time,
吹着
the sconch
大殿的
was
喇叭也
blowing
吹奏了
beautiful sound,
很多
and the
很多的
trumpet
西藏
sounding.
喇嘛穿着
There were many, many Tibetan lamas
红色
wearing
的身衣，
maroon-colored
一贯的进来
sangha
入座
robes
他们
entering
雕
into
塑
in procession
深沉的诵
to
经，
take their
殿
seats.
上的香移成一层
Bells were ringing,
浓浓的雾，
and the incense smoke filled the hall like a mist, and they were chanting solemnly. The lamas had burnt skin just like the typical Tibetans. With the celestial chant, it was a very revered occasion. Guru Padmasambhava also brought me into the golden pagoda and bestowed upon me the most special empowerment, which is the empowerment of the 5 dust of 5 contaminants. The 5 dust are form, sound, smell, taste, and touch, because these 5 situations can pollute the ultimate truth. That's why they are called the 5 dusts, which can become the 5 desires. Form refers to the beautiful form and appearances, and sound refers to the pleasing sound and voices. Smell refers to the fragrant smell. Taste refers to the pleasing taste. And touch refers to the pleasing touch. These are the 5 pleasing sensations that make people crave for them. Guru Padmasambhava pointed out that the realms of the 5 roots of the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body are called the 5 realms. Of the 3 heavenly realms, in the desire realm, there are form, sound, smell, taste, and touch. In the first meditation heaven of the form realm, there are smell and taste, and in and above the second meditation heaven, all 5 realms are gone. What is left is only consciousness. The 5 dust empowerments of Guru Padmasambhava, as bestowed by Guru Padmasambhava, are as follows. First, the form empowerment. Using a piece of crystal, inside the crystal are 5 colors light. The disciple is asked to gaze at the crystal until the 5 color lights change into rainbow light, which then turn into the great store of radiant clear light. This has to be done in person, and this has a great secret meaning. So, let me first talk about the first empowerment, the empowerment of the form. Like what Simu said, Grandmaster this year is 17. That's very young. So very youthful, because when you're young, your energy, your skin, your color, your radiance all look very good. So why do you need to have this form empowerment? Is to let you understand what this form is about. Form and appearance. As we know, colors, form also refer to colors. So there are many colors. Like this red color, this is the color of the groom at wedding. Because today is New Year's Day, we wear red. And because Maitreya is for purification, that's why it's white, so I wear the white scarf. So these are all colors. What is referred as form, it does not refer only to beauties or beautiful things. Or you can say that our worlds are the worlds of the form, or sensations, or beauties. So form also refers to the phenomena of our human world. So form empowerment is to make you completely comprehend all kinds of phenomena of the human world, all phenomena of the bodies, to let you comprehend that. This is called form empowerment. So it's not on the superficial level talking about form or greed. So the form, sound, smell, sight and taste and touch. In the earliest sutras of Tantrayana, there was one that refer to the empowerments for greed, anger, hatred, and delusion, to let you understand what greed or desire is about, or anger, hatred is about, or what delusion or ignorance is about. So there are also empowerments for greed, anger, delusion, for the 3 poisons, and also empowerments for the 5 dusts, to let you understand all phenomena about the world. It's not that then you're allowed to be like that. That's not the case. But now let me first tell a joke. Just now, we had noodles, and the boss hit the kid, and I couldn't bear it, so I told him not to beat the kid anymore. But the boss said, I have to beat him. Why not? He didn't say anything. So the client, the customer, asked the kid, why did your mom beat you? And the kid cried and said, oh, I was just peeing onto the bowls of noodles, and I have eaten half bowl of the noodles. And then I told the boss that, okay, now it's my turn to beat the kid. This is called anger. So actually, if it is a little kid, the pee of a little kid is called the returning dragon water. So it's a kind of medicine in Chinese, traditional Chinese medicine. It is treated as a medicine. So when you eat noodles and the kid is peeing inside the bowl, that's very tonifying. You should have given him some red pocket money. It's tonifying. That's returning dragon water. So you need to be clear about all phenomena of the world. Master Tsang taught Fo Qing and Fo Qi Cantonese, and you know what he taught him? That the monk drink pee and the monk ate poo. So Master Tsang understood the truth of the world, that eventually one day that people's pee could become purified water, and that all people drink, that eventually one day that you would eat the intestines, the colons. One day they would make that thing to become food, and very nutritious, that things that were not digestible, that you would digest it again. That the Japanese, it's already popular in Japan to drink pea, that it could cure illnesses. When they discover that the poo can cure cancer, everyone would eat it. If the poo can cure cancer, so look at the food chain, it is a circle. What we ate, vegetables, were planted with what? So what you ate indirectly was actually pee and poo. And only then it would call organic. It would be good. So in the true food chain, that's a good thing. But if it is man-made or chemicals, then that would not be good. But what is natural, that would be good. Organic. That's natural. So you need to see through the world. So the form empowerment, I see the sky and I see a sign, a circle, at the center a dot, and 3 rays of lights shining forth. And I ask, what is this? Do you know? I asked the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas that in the sky a circle, a dot, and 3 long rays. What is that? It turned out the heavens told me this is the beginning of all sentient beings. And you could also say that is Buddha. How could that be? How could that be Buddha? 1 circle, 1 dot, and 3 lines. The circle represents yin, and the lines are yang. So that's the origin of human beings. Oh, it turned out that a human being starts from a round egg and a long sperm in union to become a human being. So a human being comes from a germ, like a worm. So that is called form empowerment. So maybe you don't quite understand. So the mark of a Buddha is 1 circle, 1 dot, and 3 lines. The law school at the college took a criminal law and asked what is a fraud. And the student asked, so if the professor did not let me pass the test, then you're fraud. You're violating the fraud law. And the professor said, how could you explain that? According to the criminal law, so taking advantage of the ignorance of other people and turn it into it's a fraud. That's the theory. But why a form empowerment has to be bestowed upon you is so that you could comprehend what human life is about, what forms is about. In Japan, there was a Mr. Jumi that had attainments, high attainments, that could fly, and a sage, Jumi sage, that could fly on the cloud. And one day, he was flying very lowly above the river, and there was a young maiden washing clothes, and he was flying in above her. And when he looked down, and then he fell off from the clouds, and he could not hold himself, and he flew, and he fell down. So the mind and the heart has to be stable, and then he flew back up. You know what he saw? Because the young maiden washing clothes, and Japanese kimono very loose. So he saw two papayas. In Malaysia, they would say two coconuts. So, two coconuts. Not durians, right? Durians? Is it durian or coconuts? When they had an air accident, there was a Malaysian shaman that took durians. It was coconuts, and you said durians? So yours is bigger? Durians are bigger than coconuts. I saw coconuts, and she said durians. Anyone saw it or saw them as papayas? So the sage from Japan saw those two. So he knew that he had to practice the form empowerment. So he embraced a naked beauty and placed it on his altar. And he continually gazed at this naked beauty until his body did not move and his mind or his heart did not move. So spiritual cultivation is very simple. If your body doesn't move, you're abiding by the precepts. When your heart or mind doesn't move, then your chi would gel. When the chi gel, then your spirit luminosity would appear. And when the light of your spirit appears, and when the chi is moving up and down, and you can gel your spirit at the brow point, and when this chi leaves the body, then you would have attainment. That's in Taoism. That in the future, in this great perfection Dharma, I would also mention it. And during the Adi Buddha, I would also mention it. Also Mahamaya, Heruka, I would also mention this. When the body doesn't move, you're abiding by the precepts. When your heart, mind doesn't move, then your chi would be calm and stable. And then when you transport the chi to the 3 dantians, when the chi is inside your body, the chi would gel. When the chi can gel, that would be called Tai Xi. And when you can warm it and have attainment, then you would become God. Then you would start to emit light. So this is to teach you to cultivate spiritually. So the sage Jumi know that he trained until his body and heart mind do not move. You know, our eyes, in the daytime, the gods are inside our eyes. But at night, the spirit or the sun is inside your kidneys. So your dreams were influenced by the kidneys influencing your throat and then influencing your dreams. And then there are all kinds of dreams, sometimes also about sensations. If you do not maintain your kidneys, then it's easy for you to leak out. It's a simple concept. Spiritual cultivation is the same as our body. This body is a physical body. If you can train your physical body by receiving the form empowerment, you would be able to cultivate your physical body. So Guru Padmasambhava clarified that in the form empowerment, some use beautiful woman as a test. In bestowing the empowerment, the lady is dancing really hot right in front of the disciple. However, even though his eyes see all that, his heart doesn't move. He treats the beautiful hot girl as a mirage that doesn't really exist and therefore completely unmoved. Even if the hot girl embraces him, he is totally unmoved. This is called the empowerment of the form contaminant or form dust. But let me tell you, if you do not have power in your spiritual cultivation, you should not do this. So that's why you have an image of the Buddhas. So the image of the Adi Buddha and the Mahamaya are all in dual body earlier. You saw those, the dual body forms. If you see them and unmoved, completely unmoved, and you treat them as a mirage or illusion, actually the form empowerment is to let you see them as an illusion or mirage. But if you have no power in your spiritual cultivation, you should definitely avoid them. Otherwise, it's easy, you would fall into the realm of the devils. A true Buddha, his body and his heart mind do not move at all. Even when his body moves or his heart moves, his chi can still go up and down from the upper dantian at the brow, the middle dantian at the heart, and the lower dantian at the forefinger width below the navel. That is the true the key formula, the true secrets of the Taoism. That in the daytime your spirit is in the eyes, but at night it's in the kidneys. The Chinese medical doctors would know where the spirit is. The spirit is in the eyes. And what the eyes see is the form. That's why you need the form empowerment. One evening, one with the mask used gun and to rob that person. Give me your money. And that person said, why did you do that? You know, I'm a consul, a senator. And the robbers said, well, return my money to me then. So Liang Yong from Brazil, do they still rob in Brazil? There are lots of robbers in Brazil. Is it safer there? Is it because you're there? It's much safer now in Brazil. It's hard to believe. Because there's this joke. An angel is flying in the sky. And then he taught the crown of the liberty, the Statue of Liberty, and he knew that that was America. And then he touched on something pointed, and he knew that was the Eiffel Tower of Paris. And then he flew, and then his watch disappeared completely, and then it turned out to be Brazil. There are lots of robbers in this world. But let me tell you, any phenomena of the world, money, wealth, would make people greedy. You need to see through it. And we teach you how to see through it. We accumulate wealth to do Dharma work. To propagate Buddha Dharma, we need money. And there's another Dharma wealth, is to accumulate wealth to go to the Dharma realms. In the human world, to do the Dharma work, we also need wealth or money, but we also have Dharma wealth, and the wealth in heavens, that's forever. The worldly wealth, in the future, all would be left. So that's the meaning of the empowerment, is to eliminate our own greed. So the money that you have now, it may not be for you to use. When you use money, only the money that you use is yours, but the money that you don't use is not yours. So there's no use to accumulate so much wealth. Instead, you should accumulate the wealth of the heavens. This is something that we want you to understand. So his girl's desk was near the door, and there are lots of people always ask questions, information from her. And then she placed a placard saying this is information desk, and then someone still asks, where is the information desk? So it's the same. So Grandmaster has been teaching for years and years. Those who would attain Buddhahood, naturally they attain Buddhahood. But those who don't they still don't. So anyone that can eliminate the form, naturally they have eliminated it. But those who are unable to eliminate it, they still can't, even after all these years. If you are greedy, you're still greedy. But those who are not greedy, then you're just naturally so. So because those who are not greedy, they just go with the flow and they're never greedy. But those who are greedy, they're always greedy. All the same. So what am I talking about on this Dharma seat? Let me tell this joke. Me sitting on this Dharma throne, just going with the flow with everybody, just following all your wishes, just reminding you, if you're supposed to have attainments, you would have attainments. If you're not, you're not. So just to let you gain a little bit more knowledge with the ceremony, having you all come here, spending the first day of the new year. Until eventually one day, all comes together. When the time is here, you would have attainment. So don't blame Grandmaster. Actually, Grandmaster has taught everything, has taught a lot. If you want to follow, you do. If you don't, you don't. All the same. Whatever. So the empowerment of the 5 dusts are very rare. They only exist in Tantrayana to let you see what the true forms or appearance are. And then you go against it. You train to go against it. If you follow it, then you would be cycling in the rebirth realm. But if you go against it, you go to the heaven realm. If you follow your greed, anger, and delusion, if you follow the sight, smell, taste, all the sensations, then you would be cycling in the rebirth realm. But if you go against it, like said in the Golden Mother Sutra, Golden Mother Sutras for the liberation with wisdom and stability. So you retract back from the place where you lose. So Grandmaster has reached this realm in my spiritual cultivation. I don't leak, so I don't need to retract, because I don't leak anything out. It stays in my body forever, from top, descending down, and then ascending back up, and then descending back down, and then ascending back up, from the upper Dantian back to the lower Dantian, and back and forth, and back and forth. This is like what was spoken in the Falun Gong is the turning of the Dharma wheel. It's from this, from the upper Dantian going to the lower Dantian, and from the lower Dantian back up to the upper Dantian, and the Qi just going back up and down, back and forth, until the Qi gel, until it emits light, until it becomes spirit. So the essence becoming the spirit, and the spirit becoming the Qi, and the Qi return. through the Tao. So, can it be going back up? But most people, when it goes down, it goes all the way down. It would never go back up. But if you can cycle inside your body and you never leak, you never need to withdraw it. Because the qi just cycle naturally inside you. And this is like the Falun Gong. That's the concept. It's the circulation of the small universe. And it circles by itself. How could it happen? It's just like the sun, the moon. It rotate by themselves. They rotate by themselves. It's not something that you intentionally rotate. It's also the earth would revolve. They're all revolving. So you're also revolving, but you're revolving in the 6 rebirth realms, and it gets worse and worse and worse. The spiritual cultivators, they revolve and they would become energized, and then until they become a spirit, and the spirit would emit light. And this light is consciousness that would rise to the heaven realm. So the mark of the heavens, a circle, a dot, and then the 3 lines. So yin is round and yang is straight lines. So if you can revolve or rotate, then by receiving this empowerment, naturally you would rotate or revolve. But if you can't, you're unable to do that, then you revolve down, and you're in the rebirth realm. So this is like spoken in the Golden Mother Sutra, that Golden Mother taught us to retract or to withdraw back.
我们再次以热烈掌声感谢师尊。